Hi Joanne, so the first thing I did, or so when I'm troubleshooting these things, is I just downloaded a fresh copy of your site. I grabbed a copy of the sliders folder and tossed it into the site because that way I have a fresh copy of the amazing slider, the default page. Excuse me. When I fired that up, it didn't work. So I'm like, oh, all right. So I looked in the library, and I'm just gonna. This is where I'm gonna start the video here. Now is you have all the different slider folders, but the default slider that was, this is a replacement. This is a brand new one. That's your original right there. So there's something going on with the slider folder itself. So let me just see what we can figure out here by looking into the different folders and figuring out what the difference is. So because yours didn't work, and I'm just trying to compare the two here to sort of see what's going down. Index B. Okay, so image title, source description, boom. Okay, so far so good. I don't imagine the images I'm too worried about, but it should be loading yours. All right, so data source, images, portfolio, and this is the images portfolio. So that page looks good there. So let's see if I can figure out. I'm going to put this on pause while I try and dig through and figure out what in the one that was in your site, the default slider, is out of whack. Okay, so test number one, I took the contents of your default slider library page, put it into the new one, and it works. There's the pictures, and as you can see, it's showing your title. So I'm going to keep going through and see where we broke down here. All right, well, I see a problem right here. See partner sliders? Let's see how the partner is in uppercase. And partner sliders in lowercase. That's not going to work on the server because the naming convention must be identical, but I don't know why the actual folder name, which I just checked myself, right, is showing up as see, it just links to the images. So there might be some code somewhere in the cache file that is that. So I'm going to suggest we scrap that folder. Let's I want you to get rid of this folder here. That's the problem right there. There's a problem with the linkage to this folder. Why? I don't know. So let's I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to call it partner slider 2. Okay. Like so. So let me just see if everything in here looks. Sometimes when you do the copy paste in this thing, it gets all goofy. See how it goes to the default copy? Yeah, we don't want that. So let's get rid of this here. And this here, actually I don't need that there either. So just JS. Okay, I'm just going to tweak this. I'm just going to make a new folder, call it partners2, and see how that works. Well, you know what? I've had this on pause for at least a half hour, and I don't get it. Every time I create a new partner slider folder, it doesn't work. Every time I use the original default, it works like a charm. You know what? I think it's actually a problem with Dreamweaver. They might have reached a limit on something in library files or something. Okay, here's a new slider that I've created from the default. When I try and do it through Dreamweaver, guess what? It doesn't work. When I try and create it actually through just the basically when I went into the your website, and this is not through Dreamweaver. I closed Dreamweaver down. I went into the library folder, sliders. The first thing I did was I copied the default slider, just like you've been doing, pasted, renamed things, and then boom, mine didn't work. When I did it outside of Dreamweaver, it worked. So there's something going on with the cache system in Dreamweaver. Dreamweaver caches its files, right? And there may be a problem where it's reached a limit or something like that, or the same file name's being used over and over again. I'm not sure why, but the only way I was actually able to get it to work, and I'll have to check with Brandon and see if he has any ideas, but for now, what I'm going to suggest you do is close Dreamweaver down, take your default slider, I'm going to upload this to the server, copy and paste it, right? So, and then rename the folder, new slider, whatever you want to call it, and then same with the LBI file, new slider, and then go into Dreamweaver, open Dreamweaver up, and then insert that into your pages. I couldn't tell you why it's not working, but literally I think I've spent about 45 minutes trying to figure it out, and I'm stumped. So the only thing I can do, if it works when I'm not in Dreamweaver, there's probably a problem with the Dreamweaver cache, and it's maybe met a memory file, a memory size limit, or something like that. I'm not sure, but for whatever reason, when I create a new folder inside Dreamweaver, it doesn't work. When I create it outside and then simply link the file in, works like a charm. So